know, these used to be a lot harder to find, but now everybody's got one in their living room, including me. This week on Film Fridays, it's Raiders of the Lost Ark. Welcome to Film Friday, a show for post-cinematic analysis where I provide some of my favorites and a few fixes. Now, the disclaimer is I hate movie reviews before I see a movie, so if you're a film buff like me, then you've definitely seen Raiders of the Lost Ark. And if you're not, then go watch, enjoy, and come back and join us. I want to remind viewers at home that though this is PG, this is 1981 PG, and it's dang violent. I mean, we've got people getting stabbed, shot. One guy gets into a propeller blade. Thankfully, they cut to. We get three main villains that they get their faces melted off. This movie is a lot more terrifying than I remember. To kick it off, let's talk about some of my favorites. One of the things I love about Raiders of the Lost Ark is we've got probably one of the best intros of all time. I actually wrote them down. Listen to this. Okay, so within the first, 4 to 5 minutes, Indy runs into some different troubles. Here we go. One of his compadres pulls a gun on him. He gets a bunch of spiders all over him. He has to cross a really large gap. He comes across some light-activated spikes. That's kind of interesting. A gigantic stone that begins to crush him. And then he shows up and Belloc takes away the idol and the chase begins. I mean, this is within just a couple of minutes of the movie opening. Kicks off with a bang. I love that. Another favorite I love, this is just a little teeny piece, is, do you remember this guy? I love that Indiana shoots first. A little bit of backstory is this guy, he and Harrison were supposed to have this robust fight and sword fight and this kind of intense scene. But unfortunately, Harrison Ford had really bad food poisoning or a really bad stomach bug. And he just couldn't do it. He was so sick. And so he decided, why don't I just shoot him? I think that's fantastic, because how many times are you watching some action movie that's over the top and you're thinking you're carrying a gun? What are you doing with this whip and knives and sword plays? Just shoot him if you've got a couple more rounds. So now that you've heard a couple of my favorites, I want to talk about two fixes. Firstly, this movie is filled with minor characters that have basically little to no character development whatsoever. You've got main creepy Nazi guy, who at the end of the movie stays main creepy Nazi guy. You've got Belloc, who is kind of this suave French. You've got the main Nazi general guy, who at the end of the movie is still main Nazi general guy. You've got this whole movie filled with henchmen that their character development doesn't seem to go anywhere. Another fix that I would offer would be give us more details about Indiana and Marion's past relationship, because her fake death with the whole basket switch, that would mean a lot more if we knew more than she simply yelled, "I was a child and I was in love." You knew what you were getting into. I wish we had a little bit more meat to that. It's not that big of a heartbreak when she gets fake killed. It's like, oh, that's a bummer. There goes another minor character with little to no character development. With that, I think a better fix would be actually to have Abner in the movie and get killed off in the opening scene to build that tension of, oh, we actually see this long-lost mentor that's died, and there's this daughter, and maybe we get a little more depth into they used to have a relationship, and now it's not, but now she's tagging along on the adventure. But all of these might make for a much weightier film than just a simple Indiana Jones movie where they used to have a thing, and now they don't, and now they have this playful banter. Now, we've discussed a couple of my favorites where I talked about the opening intro, out with a bang, extraordinary, action-packed through and through, and the fact that Indy just when he has a gun, he uses it. And then we talked about a couple of fixes. We talked about more minor character development would have been nice, and I want to see more meat on the relational history between Marion and Indy. I once heard Steven Spielberg describe certain movies as buttered popcorn. To me, it doesn't get any more classic than Indiana Jones. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a pillar of cinema. It's a lot of fun, and it's not the weightiest of movie, but that's okay. We don't need that. We need some good old-fashioned gunplay, whip action, tipping our fedoras and riding off into the sunset with the girl of our dreams. So I want to know what you thought. I want to know which of the Indiana Jones movies you like the most, whether Raiders, Temple of Doom, or The Last Crusade. We're not going to count the fourth one because it's not real. I'd love to hear which one was your favorite, and if it's Raiders, what are some of the things you loved and what are things that you hate? Leave some information in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe. We'd love to have you join us. Tune in. We're going to meet again. Once again, this is a bi-monthly show. We're going to meet every other Friday for some post-cinematic analysis. I hope this viewing experience will enhance your next viewing experience. Thanks for joining us.